What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with the Imagine Life Development Center. Here to do the mid-June love reading for my fellow Virgos out there. If you're new to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you click the like, share, and subscribe button for me. All the other information you need to know is in the description box below. This reading will be good for about the next 30 days, so between now and about mid-July. There will be a separate July reading once we get there. So this is not a substitute for the July readings. But with that being said, we're going to take a look at your current hurdles, obstacles, and challenges that you're facing in love and romance right now. We're going to take a look at the advice, what you need to do to improve your situation, circumstances to get your desirable outcome. And then we will take a look at what that outcome will be if you listen to the advice. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. What is the current major hurdle, obstacle, and challenge that my Virgos are facing? Okay, so we have the Ace of Pentacles, and I will clarify everything. So right now, you guys could be feeling challenged when it comes to, you may be feeling challenged in terms of, I mean, it could be money and finances and things like that, but I feel like some of you guys out there haven't been as focused on relationships. Some of you, maybe the majority of you, have been putting more of your time and energy into projects and other areas of your life. And relationships has kind of taken the back seat. But for those of you that are obviously watching this, you know, it's like you've left the door open, obviously, for romance to come in. It's just not, you're not hyper focused on it right now. It's just kind of like, hey, you know, if I meet somebody, the door's open. And so there's, for those of you that are watching this, you're curious. It's like, you know, you're just curious to see if there's anything or anyone that might be coming towards you in the near future. But I don't get a heavy energy that it's like, it's something that's like, you're not super focused on. But the current challenge, again, it could be tied to non-romantic related situations and circumstances. However, for those of you where it applies directly to romance, you may be feeling like the obstacle and challenge for you has been finding anything solid, or anyone, I should say, solid, that's worthy of investing in. In other words, you know, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people out there and stuff, but I can't find anyone that's really worth my investment. So that could be what that pertains to as well. So let's take a quick look at the advice, and then I'll get the outcome, and then we'll clarify everything and see what else shows up here. Okay. Well, the advice is the Devil. So you could have been dealing with a Capricorn at some point here, you could have been dealing with a Capricorn. Doesn't have to be, but the Devil energy is Capricorn energy. What is the outcome here? Now, the Devil obviously refers to anything toxic, obsessive, controlling, out of balance, any type of vice or temptation that we experience in our lives. So if it's not a Capricorn specifically, and I mean, it could apply to both. I mean, it could be a toxic Capricorn that you're dealing with. But if it's not a Capricorn specifically that you're dealing with, then it could be simply the advice says, hey, you know, obviously, yeah, we don't want to be dealing with any toxic energy in our lives. So if you at any point feel tempted to get involved with a toxic situation, you need to be aware. You know, like, don't involve yourself in a toxic situation, or if somebody from your past that was toxic wants to come back into your life, don't get involved in that either, right? So the potential outcome, if you would adhere to the advice, and again, potential outcome is the key, because if you don't listen to the advice, then the outcome doesn't matter, because the outcome is dependent upon you taking action and following the advice. We have the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess is Cancer Pisces energy. So again, this could be related, you know, to a Cancer or Pisces. Doesn't have to be, but it's also about spiritual growth, spiritual learning, and trusting your intuition, spiritual evolution, things of that nature here. And so really kind of what this is telling me, and it's maybe the first time I've ever gotten this message before, is the outcome is a heightened sense of intuition. Like you're going to know what to do. You're going to know what's right for you because of almost like a test. And I want to be careful how I say this, okay? Because I think when, excuse me, I didn't want to sneeze. I think when we hear the word test, a lot of times it comes with this implication that the universe, God, source, the universe, or whatever power, ultimate creative power, universal power that exists outside of us has like a malicious side to it, right? Like the universe or God is testing you. Like there's this force that has this scheme and is setting us up, to test us, almost like setting us up for failure. And I don't believe that, right? Like I don't know any loving parent who would test their child, right? Like I'm going to set a trap for my child who struggles with ABC, XYZ, right? It's like you want your kid to eat more broccoli or something, right? Eat more vegetables. And so, and you want them to eat less sweets or something. I'm just making something up, right? Just hear me out. And so instead of finding a healthy way, a positive way to reinforce healthy habits and patterns, you're like, I'm going to teach my child a lesson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some like ice cream. I'm going to leave it out on the countertop but I'm going to put something in the ice cream, something that would make my kid sick. Not super sick, not like go to the hospital sick, but like just enough of something in there that when they eat that ice cream, it's going to taste really old and gross, or they're going to spit it out. Because then every time they reach for the ice cream, they're going to have that memory. They're going to be like, oh man, the last time I ate ice cream, it made me feel sick to my stomach. And you all know what I'm talking about because everybody's had this experience in life. If you ever ate something that was bad or it was raw, if you ever had food poisoning, you remember exactly what that thing was that made you sick. And I can almost guarantee if you think about whatever that thing was, it'll start to make you feel sick even to this day, right? That's how strong our memory is. So, but who would do that? If you're a loving parent, you wouldn't do that to your child, right? Like you're setting your child up to fail by creating conditions where you know that they would most likely fail, like putting alcohol in front of someone who's trying to recover from addiction. That's just not a loving way to help somebody overcome something, right? So, and I want to be clear on this because some of you need to hear this. The universe isn't malicious. It doesn't do that. The universe knows I'm an alcoholic, so why would the universe bring me alcohol? Well, it doesn't, right? So the universe isn't testing you. But what happens rather is we end up going through situations and circumstances in our life where we don't learn those lessons, and unconsciously we reattract those things back into our lives because there's actually a part of us that is still attached to whatever these toxic things are. So it's more like a law of attraction thing than it is the universe testing you kind of thing. And so in this particular situation, for those of you that this resonates for, you've had to go through a pattern and a cycle where maybe it was one person, two people, or three people, or who knows how long. But I would say at least one person, that there's been at least one person in your life who you were obsessed with, the devil energy. There was a toxic, the relationship you had with this person was toxic. The environment around it was toxic, if you're being honest with yourself. And there was an obsessive and compulsive type behavior where it's like no matter how hard you wanted to let go of this person, you just couldn't. And even if you're broken up with this person, even if you're not talking to this person, even if you've been in separation with this person, whatever that situation is, you still can't seem to get them off your mind. You can't get them out of your thoughts. It's almost like no matter where you go, no matter how hard you try to let go, it's like the energy of that person is attached to you somehow, right? And so what all this is doing, the reason that you're going through this situation is so that you will learn that eventually when you do overcome this and conquer this challenge, you're going to have a sharp and heightened intuition, because all the things that you've learned is going to lead you to this high priestess energy, which really could be another way of saying or interpreting this energy rather, is learning to trust yourself. You're going to learn to trust yourself in ways that you can't imagine, which is actually going to empower you and unlock parts of you that you have not come into contact with. So really what this has done for you, my fellow Virgos, is this help you unlock your superpowers, whether you realize it or not. Because the high priestess stands in front of the veil, right? On the traditional tarot, she's sitting in front of a curtain. And behind the curtain is the mysteries of the universe. And she's kind of like the guardian, so to speak, or the bearer of the knowledge. So she's kind of like the bouncer that lets you into the club, so to speak. You want to go to a club, you got to get past the bouncer, right? And so she's kind of that in this regard. And so when you approach the high priestess, you have to prove to her that you've passed the test. You have to turn in your homework. And as long as you got the test right, then you get access to what's behind the curtain, which is your superpower, learning to trust yourself, knowing things that you could have never known before about yourself, about your future, about your future partner, your future love life, and all these things. Because if you can't learn to trust yourself, then it doesn't matter who comes into your life in the future. Because for all you know, you might get another devil, right? New person, different name, different looks, all these things, but could end up having the same result, which is why a lot of people go around the mountain, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Well, sometimes our trials come back to us in new forms, in the new form of a new person, different situation, maybe slightly different circumstances, a different name, different personalities and all these things, but the end result is the same. So I feel very strongly to share this message with you, my fellow Virgos, because that's just the collective season that a lot of us Virgos are in. A lot of us are going through these relational trials right now because we're meant to learn how to trust ourselves so that we can unlock and tap into a deeper part of ourselves so that we can be more empowered. And then once we fine tune our intuition, we can move forward in all areas of our life: money, work, purpose, relationships, you name it, right? So that's my big diatribe on that. So let's go back and let's clarify the Ace of Pentacles. Why is the Ace of Pentacles here? And again, this is the hurdle, obstacle, and challenge here. And we're just clarifying it to make sure that I'm on track or not, or if there's any other messages. Okay. All right. So here, the Hermit is here, which is the major arcana for Virgo. So your own energy is showing up, and then we have the Six of Wands in reverse, which is defeat, which is bad news, which is a fall from grace, bad reputation. It's just instead of getting the victory after a long battle, we were defeated in the battle. And so this is feeling, again, the challenge, again, is feeling like there's nothing worth invested in. You can't find anything that's worthy of somewhat of a moral victory, if you will. It's almost like you're encountering all these people in life who are beat down, defeated, or in some way, shape, or form. It's almost like they've ruined things for you, which really is a blessing in disguise, right? So let me put it to you like this. Let's say you meet somebody, you go on a date, right? And everything is going really well. It's like, I met this person, we're going out on a date, and everything's going well. And then they slip up. They say something or they do something, something happens and it ruins. It's almost like they ruined it for themselves. They say or do something that ends up ruining your perception. You're like thinking like, oh man, this person seems real. They seem legit. And then they weren't. They did, the thing came to light. They slipped up. They did something that marred their reputation here. Right. And so that's kind of like what the energy, what I'm getting here is like, again, you can't find anything worth investing in because every time you go out, your initial perception is, no, I thought this person was worth the investment, right? You're looking for somebody of high honor, of high stature. Instead, you're finding people who really don't have that to offer. And the hermit energy being here is about you just saying, hey, you know what? I'm good by myself. And until I find something worth investing in, I'm good all by myself. I'm totally cool being me, myself, and my little hermit cave. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Three of Pentacles. And so the Three of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck having to do with this is like, again, you're willing to entertain. It's like casual, right? It's like, I'm open, casually talk to people, my door is open. You haven't shut the door on the idea of love, but it's very casual, right? Pentacles is a very casual energy. It's not wands, it's not lust and passion, it's not cups or emotions and all of that. It's just a very, kind of surface level energy, right? And Pentacles, out of all the energy in tarot, is the slowest energy. So this is like you just like, hey, and this is also you, again, focusing maybe on your work and your money and your other projects because, there's nothing really worth your time and energy in terms of love and romance. So why is the devil here? What's this about? So this is the advice. Okay, the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles is the happily ever after card for me. It's all the things. The Ten of Cups is implied in the Ten of Pentacles. So we have the Ten of Pentacles and we have the World card. And the World is also Capricorn energy. So this is double Capricorn energy, strong Capricorn energy on the table. And where the deck splits, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Cups, right? Partnerships, relationships. And then at the split, the middle of the deck where it splits, we have the Three of Cups. So there's a lot going on with that. So to summarize it, otherwise I'll turn this into an hour reading, explaining all of it, because there's a lot of energy tied to it. Essentially, in a nutshell, the advice is saying, again, you're going to need to learn from the lessons of the past. You need to trust your intuition because there's a temptation. And the advice is about not falling into temptation and about not involving yourself in toxic energies, right? Because Virgos, we like to help people. We're people pleasers. A lot of Virgos are. We like to fix problems and help people. And so a lot of times we get entangled with the wrong energy. And so what this is saying here is to be careful about the things that you, how to put it? To be careful about seeing the potential in things without seeing what's behind them, right? It's like the rotten apple analogy, right? So like just because an apple looks good to eat on the outside doesn't mean that there's not something rotten on the inside, right? So you can grab an apple and like, man, this apple looks so good. I take a bite of it, and then on the inside of the apple, it could be rotten. There could be a bug. There could be something gross on the inside. Well, believe it or not, most of us Virgos, we have this ability to see we have the ability to look and see into people's lives, right? We have this ability to see the potential within people. We can see things in people that they can't see within themselves. We can see, it's almost like our higher self can see what their higher self wants them to become. And a lot of times we fantasize that. We project what we see onto them, but that's not who they're choosing to become. And that's very hard, because if that person isn't choosing to become their best self, then no one can force them to become their best self. And so a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this, by the way, this is why I can speak to this. I've been here, I've done it. I'm a September Virgo. My sun sign is Virgo. So I feel like in the past, you saw a potential, you saw this future. It's like, oh man, this is the happily ever after. We can have the house together and the kids and the business and the purpose and all the things. The 10 of Pentacles, all the things. I can have all the things with this person, right? This and with the world here is all about completion. It's about going to the very end, right? It's about accomplishment, achievement. It's the highest accomplishment of everything. You've gone through the entire fool's journey to the highest level of consciousness. You've achieved everything together in life. It's really wanting to build a solid happily ever after with somebody. You want to go the distance with somebody, right? You're in it for the long haul, right? So the advice here, especially with the 2 of Cups and that 3 of Cups that we saw, is about being careful about projecting your fantasy onto these toxic things, because the outside of the apple looks good to eat, 10 of Pentacles and the world, but the inside of the apple is rotten. Okay? That's what the advice is essentially saying here. And it's about being careful about who you entangle with. These soul contracts here. Who you allow and who you entangle your emotions with, because that's what the cups are about. Right? So be careful, guard your heart, and be careful about projecting potential onto people without seeing that potential is actually there, and without trying to, how do I say this? You want somebody to prove their potential to you. If you have to elicit that, if you have to pull it out of them, if you have to, do anything at all to get them to show you who they are, at least in the beginning, okay? Because there is a time, when you're with somebody, of course you support them. Of course you believe in them and you speak life into them and all of that. That's part of a healthy relationship. But not for us and not at the beginning, right? Because people will pretend to be who it is that they want you to think that they are. And if we believe that, then we're the ones fooling ourselves. And if we come right out of the gate and we tell people all of these things and show people these things, if that person is smart enough, they're gonna be like, oh, so all I have to do to get Virgo is just do these things. Be like this, right? Act interested in that thing, act interested in this other thing, present myself a certain way, and Virgo will let me come right in. And if that person's intentions are no good, then you're letting this person into their life and they're not even the real person. They faked you, they tricked you, whether they meant to or not, whether they consciously did it or not, right? And that's what leads us to the High Priestess. The High Priestess is here to cast light on the devil and say, hey, no more doing the projecting thing. You let someone show you who they are. And when they have shown you who they are on their own accord without any intervention from you, then you can trust them, okay? That's the lesson. And until you learn that lesson, then somebody else is going to come into your life and you're going to probably repeat that toxic pattern again. So why is the High Priestess here in the outcome? Besides everything that I just said. And I'm going a little bit longer on your guys' reading because I feel led to. My intention was to make this, no longer than about 20 minutes. Okay, well, actually 2 just fell out. Okay, so yeah, we have the Knight of Wands and we have the 6 of Cups. So what this is saying and the outcome is if you listen to the advice, when something that represents the past, so the Knight of Wands here is, again, in this particular instance, the Knight of Wands is representing this devil energy. Somebody who's non-committal, they're in it for the fun and games, they're not going to commit to you. The best that they have to offer you is a temporary good time, and that's it. Here today, gone tomorrow. Hit it and quit it. They're a blast for the night, but that's it. That's all you're going to get. You might have some great sex. You might have a great hookup with this person, and then they're gone. You may never hear from them again, or they'll come back to you months down the road and hit you up again. And they're never going to offer you this 10 of Pentacles that you long for. The Knight of Wands is never going to be 10 of Pentacles material, period. 6 of Cups is talking about the past. Again, the High Priestess is saying you don't have to repeat the past. You don't have to let these player type energies into your life. You don't have to keep going through these devilish cycles. You can learn from the past mistake by trusting your intuition, by doing just that. Trusting your intuition. Have you learned your lesson? Can you trust yourself? When that red flag feeling shows up in you, are you going to ignore it or are you going to trust it? Right? And so that's really what this is saying here. I didn't do this for the other signs, but I'm being told to do it for you to get one card. So I apologize for any cross watchers that are watching this for Virgo. I have not done this for the other signs, but I'm being prompted to do one card for my Virgos. Okay. Queen of Cups. And this is a tie-in energy. Virgo, what you're looking for is a Queen of Cups energy. Okay. And this isn't about the sign. It's not, we're saying that you have to find a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. What this is saying is that you need to find somebody who is emotionally mature, they're in touch with their feelings, and they are capable of building a healthy emotional connection with you. That's what this is saying. Because this Knight of Wands is a runner energy. They are an avoidant. They do not, the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Cups cannot be more opposite. Queen of Cups has no problems with her feelings, emotions. She has no problems in building a 10 of Pentacles future in life with somebody, right? The Knight of Wands would never do that. The Knight of Wands ultimately is about himself, right? There's fear of missing out. There's too many adventures to go on. Emotions are stupid and dumb. They're pointless. Emotional connections will lock you down, which prevent you from going out and experiencing all these other things that are out there, right? So it's just not, this is like a bachelor energy. Like that's fine maybe in college before you're ready to settle down and all that. But the Virgos that this reading is for, you guys are most likely about building a future, building a legacy, and having security and not dealing with player energy, right? So you're looking for somebody who's emotionally intelligent, they have an emotional IQ, emotionally available, and they can prove it to you, right? And that person will be ready to emotionally connect with you, emotionally commit to you, and they won't avoid you. They won't run from emotions and feelings and all those things. In fact, this person will be very expressive. When the time comes, this person will express their emotions in a healthy way, and they will make their intentions known and clear to you. And they will show you and tell you that 10 of Pentacles is what you want, okay? So Virgo, that's what I have for you. Hopefully this reading made sense. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more readings, and I'll see you all very soon. And as always, love and light.